So I wanted to start off a little exercise session from a position of rest where we're starting off with a good posture, but that posture is held passively and in a state of rest, and we're going to use gravity to our advantage here. So for most of us, we're going to be dealing with the tendency towards a collapsed chest. So if we lie back over our bolster here with our head here, we've got a little bit of space for our shoulders to move freely. We're in a passive position where our posture is in a really great position. So from here, we can start to feel all that lovely support from the floor, and we can either take time to rest till we feel nice and relaxed, or if we already are and we're even feeling a little bit fidgety, we can ride that impulse to move by just moving. That's really what we want to track. We want to track what our body's natural impulses are giving us for the day or for the moment. So for me, it's just feeling nice to move my hips around, move side to side. Whereas yesterday when I did this, I just wanted to lie here for some time before I felt relaxed enough to feel even the slightest bit motivated to actually move. So we want to try and go with what we've got. Trying not to force our body into anything, but just going with what we've got. If we want to rest, just use this as an opportunity to rest until just lying here becomes not satisfying anymore. So movement can relieve the sense of not satisfied anymore. So what I can explore in this beautifully supported position with the bolsters is pretty much movement throughout my whole body, but in a really good open postural position, which is a really huge contradiction to our normal position of our upper body. So we can start to explore shoulder and arm movement, hand movement, wrist movement, elbow movement, all the time connecting that movement to a beautifully positioned upper body posture. So we're creating connections through our body which are normally not there. Like usually we're quite disconnected. We've got our shoulders not nicely sitting in their sockets at all, but here we do. So we're developing some beautiful, lovely connections while we're working with our movement. So let's take that down to our lower body. And again, the bolster is helping keep my tailbone back. It's keeping the front of my body nice and open. It's helping to keep my pelvis nice and open. So a lot of spoken about having a strong core. Well, to me, it's much more important to have an open core region, if you want to use that term. Have an open pelvis and a pelvis that's connected out to the rest of our body. So we can do that, use these bolsters beautifully to achieve that for us. We're just using gravity here to keep that pelvis open. And we can connect that pelvic movement to any upper body movement. And again, we're helping to reinforce very nice connections of upper body movement to open pelvic movement. So, which is very rare in our everyday lives. We usually move with a very shut down, collapsed pelvis and a very shut down, collapsed shoulder zone. So let's transfer some of that movement right out to our knees and our feet. And just expand on the range of connections through our bodies, and using our head a bit as well. And this feels so good when we just go with what the body is willing and feeling nice about doing. we're getting much, much better connections through the body rather than through forcing it regimentally. We're finding all those natural connections. Now, one position I found really nice the other day was just pressing my knees as if they're pushing a button on the far wall. And that movement just came out of as a progression from working with these balsas. And I was working with 3 other people, and they all started to fall into positions that were tremendously opening and connecting for the whole body, and particularly opening for the pelvis. And it was all through just because it felt good, not because they were trying to force it. So from here we can even include, if I had some weights here, I could even do some shoulder work, and I would be preserving my really good shoulder position, and so I would not be doing any harm to my shoulders. They're great for rehabbing shoulder problems pretty much of any nature at all. Now from here, what we can do is we can explore using gravity again. So we've used gravity in this frontal opening position. We can also start to use gravity working sideways on the body and face down on the body. So again, if we like to just get used to that position, like we did when we first lay down, if we just like to get used to that position and then just go with any movements that seem to come naturally, those natural movements are going to be the ones that our body is going to choose, because it's naturally going to be balancing out things that have been held there and haven't been able to release themselves. So the natural movements, following the natural movements, will help get rid of those uncomfortable pockets of tension, help to bring life to those zones in our body that are underused, and just can't wait to sort of, come out and participate in life, so to speak. So those natural impulses are extremely, extremely good guidance system, an accurate guidance system for how we need to move. So we've moved from being on our backs in that lovely open chest, open pelvic position, to working on our sides and exploring gravity, working in this plane of movement more, and seeing what's coming naturally to our body in terms of movement and rest. Like, what is a great resting position? What makes me feel the best? That is the position that you need to follow. Just that feeling of gratification, because those are the ones that will release all those tensions and reconnect things up. So, for example, today I'm moving quite pelvically, which is not unusual for people who tend to walk around with collapsed postures. A collapsed upper body posture usually translates into a closed, shut down pelvic posture. So I'm moving quite pelvically just to bring some relief to that held in tension and collapse, and things are starting to feel like they're opening up a lot nicer for me, and feeling tension even coming out through my wrists and fingers. Right. So from here we can move face down and see what's available there. And going through a whole range range. The whole range from back to side to front is quite important, because another thing with conventional exercises is we tend to just move in one plane of movement, stop there, pick another plane of movement, and work quite sort of symmetrically and sort of like geometrically, but not through full ranges of I guess complete movement. And it kind of goes without saying, if you don't move with that complete movement, that your body is like totally missing out on multiple connections that are just begging to be made, and strain and habitual lines of usage of the body are being reinforced continually, while others aren't. So this is again because more complete movement is really quite pleasant and fulfilling. It feels so great. There again is your guidance system kicking in, telling you all this time what your body has needed and has been missing out on. So the last video we did, we looked at some relaxing preliminary movements for a warm-up for some routines, and we were using the two bolsters. I'll just quickly show you how you can get not as good an effect, but just with a couple of pillows, because the main thing is to try and get this part of the body as open as possible, which is the main contradiction to how we normally hold our bodies in a fairly collapsed way. So you can set yourself up with a couple of pillows, like this, and already the effect is more subtle, but already I feel that my chest is bigger. I get that sense of bigness compared to my normal position. So you can certainly try with a thicker pillow, but the most important thing is to not get something too spongy, because you really want to get that sense of support for your body, so your body can connect to the ground. It is all about connection of not just your body to the different components within your body, but most importantly of your body's connection to the ground. So something too spongy isn't going to give you such a solid connection. What may be better than this is something like a rolled up blanket or a rolled up towel, because that's not going to compress as kind of spongily. You can do away with this pillow as well, and that increases the sense of expansion in the front of the body. So really the bolsters are great, but hey, this does the job. This does the job much better than just lying on a flat floor, where you go back to that more ordinary sort of half collapsed position.